Testing, testing. Okay, sounds good. Okay, let's get the show on the road. Alrighty. Well, hey everybody, how's it going? I hope everybody is having a really nice Sunday today. Looked like we have ourselves another Simulation Sunday community live stream. So we've had a lot go on this week, not gonna lie. So we had the ally event where you basically can level up your allies for half the cost. I know a bunch of my friends have been getting in on that. And then as well, you know, you got people that are still figuring out the Razor artifact. My buddy, league mate, War Machine went ahead and put a video on his channel in depth, which I helped him test some of it. His channel is called Gaming Prodigy, so you can check that out if you're curious about that artifact. We go into depth with the numbers and whatnot for that. So be sure to go ahead and check that out. And then if you haven't seen the video on the channel, I have joined the DCUO Creator League. This is mainly a vehicle so that I can show you guys stuff early with the way that I showcase things. I like to kind of get the physical items, get nice up and close, have really good video quality, and try to really show everybody what everything looks like. And so, you know, I like the idea of being able to get those sort of items early, even if it's just on test, to go ahead and show you what those things look like, and maybe try to get as much information as I possibly can about it before it goes live. Just like what we got with the St. Patty's Day event items, those are coming out not tomorrow, the next day, so Tuesday they're coming out. So it looks like a Banshee skin and the hairs coming out for the event campaign, and a bunch of other things with the campaign. I honestly don't remember. I think it was like a skill point token, some source marks, and maybe some stabilizers. I think it was like 50 stabilizer fragments. And then I think the actual event has like a Irish jig emote. And like the base items, I think they're pretty good. I really like the detail on them, like the Celtic, you know, like the Celtic, like different statues, like the Druid, the Wizard, the Maiden. Like there's all sorts of different ones. So I kind of like that. So I thought those had a lot of detail. I kind of wish there was a little more with the base items, but I mean there are quite a few types of those stone ones. So I don't know, maybe a little variety besides the stone statues, but I do like a lot of how I do like a lot of them and how they look. So, you know, I think it's a win-win for the base building community. It's only the prices we'll actually have to look at and see what they come out to be. Moose says, "Hope you had a good birthday." I had a very good birthday. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I had a very good birthday. I was off this whole week basically, because let's just say I was sitting on, like, I don't know, like about 7.5 weeks of vacation time, and I carried over 2 from the last year that made that total. So I had, you know, it's kind of like, okay, I'm already 3 months into the year. I got to use one of those weeks, right? So I was like, might as well, right? Birthday week, you know, and Irish and German. So for me, you know, little bit of a kinship there as well, you know, St. Patty's Day week. So get a few days in before work gets crazy for the holiday. You know, people like their corned beef and cabbage, so I like my corned beef and cabbage. So there we go. But yeah, it's very good. Alrighty. So let's just get right into it, because if you leave it up to me, I'll be blabbering all night, and I'd like to at least do that with seeing some people here. So, all right. So we got, looks like a Loki character here. very nice. I'm kind of missing the horns, but I guess this is like a certain version of the character. I'm sure this chest piece could be good for a lot of things. I just haven't found a real good purpose for it yet. The mournful chest. I just haven't found a good like style for that yet. You know, I keep trying to look for things, but nothing so far. Oh, we got Lantern Razor. All right. We'll look at him. So we got our Lantern Buddy Razor over here. Very nice. And then we have Fund Razor, which, if I remember, he had a Razor style as well. So this is kind of his version on Razor. I know he did another Razor style before. It ended up on one of the shorts. I remember it because it had the big bulky Guy Gardner chest piece. He used the same aura too. I remember that. The crazy thing is that people will come back to me years later and they'll be like, wow, they're like, you're the only person on the friends list that like I recognize, because either people changed their names or they're just not around anymore. And I'm the sort of person, I will recognize people by the style that they use. I can recognize just about anybody by the style they use. Even if the name doesn't match, I'll be like, hey, wait, that style is super familiar. I've seen this before. This person, that was their style. They used to wear it all the time. And I'm not taught, like, I think you can really muddy the waters if it's like a Superman style or a Batman style, because I feel like a lot of people kind of overlap with that, but I'm like, when it comes to original character styles and I see them and I'm like, oh, that's so and so, oh, it looks like he made it back, and then inevitably they'll come by and they'll be like, wow, like, you're the only person I recognized on the friends list, how's it going? And a lot of these people, I hadn't even run with them in the past. But nevertheless, they're like an old friend, even if you recognize their name and it's been years, and you kind of knew them through association or didn't even really run with them. It doesn't matter in the end, because when they come back, it doesn't matter because they recognize you and you recognize them, so they might as well be a friend, right? So, yeah. So I don't know, little fun tidbit there, but every so often I'll get that, and I'll think that's kind of cool. All right, and then we got Comic Relief over here. So it looks like we have our. Switch something here real quick. Behind the scenes. Alright, there we go. There we go. That's a nice spin. Very nice. Yeah, I like that. That's a nice style. Very nice cowboy Deadpool. Very nice. Did I look at Superior Clone? No, I didn't. Okay. I like the armor pieces. I'm not sure about the hands. I think these are the newer version of the hands. And I feel like they have too much detail in comparison to the other things. I think these... let me see. I think if you got the older version of them, they would match better. I know they're the Amazon. Are they? No. Yeah. So the Amazon pull march. A pull march. There you go. That's I think if you get that style and add the wet paint on, I think you'll I think it'll blend in a little better. You won't have like that's about like the new stuff where it has a lot of heavy detail, and sometimes it doesn't translate well to the old styles. It doesn't mix well with the old styles. So so you have to kind of do what you got to do to kind of make it work, right? Let's see. There we go. So we got somebody doing Regent Thrag. Very nice. I know that there was another trailer that came out, and a lot of people are getting hyped for it. I'm getting hyped for it because I read a lot of the comics, or rather, I know a lot of the storylines and what transpires with this character and with the show, comics as a whole. So it'll be nice to see like how they decide to whatchamacallit, how they choose to tell it, how they choose to make it happen on the show. I can't find the word for it, but I'm thinking of it. I just can't. How they adapt it. There you go. How they adapt it to the show. I think that'll be very interesting, to say the least. Let's see, this one, okay, I mean, it's not bad. I think it could use maybe another material here and there or something, but to act as an accent against this one. But I always thought that was a nice material. I don't think you could go too wrong with that. And then we have Bruce K. Wayne. Okay, alright. I don't know what I'm looking at, but I do kind of like the armor on the legs. Ah, it doesn't look like he's finished with that. We're gonna go to Rhodey War Machine. This looks very familiar. Okay, yeah, I actually like this. I actually like this a lot. I think they did very well with this. Yeah, that's a War Machine if I've ever seen one. Very nice. Well done. Yeah, well done. The only critique I would do is that I see the skin tone right there. I would try to match the skin tone to the suit metal, so it looks like the neck and chest are seamless. That's the only thing I would do. I think everything else on this is fantastic. I like the use of the back piece. I think that's great. I think the red was a good choice. Yeah, I think the whole thing just in general, very good. Yeah, very nice. Good job. Adrian says, "Hi, Iconic. How do you feel about the new skin and hair coming Tuesday?" I think they're good. I didn't really... It's not something that I would expect the devs to do. It's not something like, if you asked me, let me reword that. If you asked me like a month ago if I figured that they would put out a hair and skin like that, I would not expect that. Let's put it that way. I would not expect that at all. I didn't think that we'd get something like that. But I think it's welcome. I think the hair is really good. I like how the hair drapes onto the shoulders and then keeps going down the back. So I really like that. And then, what else? Oh, the skin is pretty nice. I think you could make like, your own version of the Punisher or something with that. As long as you can tint it, I think that'd be really cool for a weird Punisher variant. I think that'd be kind of cool. So I think a lot of people will find uses for that. I had a buddy in Discord that was saying like maybe you could use it for like Lobo. I think it would be a little south of being able to be used for Lobo, and here's why. Lobo, the rest of his skin is like a bluish white color, and then he has like the black around the eyes. This would require you to have the rest of the skin blacked out so that you could have the black around the eyes. So I don't see it being a viable option for Lobo, but there's gonna be people regardless that are gonna use it anyway and still try it out. But I already know just from looking at it. Here, we'll look at extra attacks. There we go. But just by looking at it, I know that it's not going to work for that. But you know, I'm still willing to see like what people are, you know what they're gonna do with it, because who knows. But I'm kind of doubtful it's gonna be good for that. All right, let's see. Let's look at Kratos, or let's look at Secret Lantern. Okay, I mean, you could tell he's probably just starting out on the character. Not too much there. I know there was a John Stewart here earlier. He had a good style there, but it doesn't look like he's around anymore. Who's that up there? We got a John Stewart up there. Okay, alright. Maybe that's him, maybe it's not, but we'll take a look anyway. There we go. I think this is the same guy, but this isn't the style I was talking about. I think he was using like the new Green Lantern emblem, and it actually looked pretty good. Yeah. We got Stewart's over here. Maybe it was Stewart's. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong person. No, this isn't the guy either. I mean, this isn't bad. This is pretty good. I like the slimline boots. It's not bad. Not bad at all. But one of them had like the new emblem, and I think that looked good. Let's see here. What up, Fundraiser? How's it going? We went ahead, we checked out your style earlier. I was remarking on how I saw your style last time. The one that had the Guy Gardner chest piece. Yeah. The new one. Alright. Let's take a look here. We have this one right here. I mean, this isn't bad. This isn't bad. I'm not crazy about the face piece. I feel like there probably could be something better, or at least a material to go over it to cover it up more, because it has like the old metal feel to it. This thing keeps on going off since I'm in combat. But yeah, I feel like if you can make the materials go together well, then I think you're already like halfway there to a good style. I feel like when you have a lot of disconnect with materials, it's like a lot of noise. It takes away from the entire piece when you have a few things that are clashing with each other. Like, I think this one's nice. I like the feel of this. Definitely has like an Elden Ring feel to it. Especially with like the falling feathers. Definitely like an Elden Ring feel. And then we have Exodus MCU. Wait, is this the... No, we already saw him. We already saw him. So we have Exodus MCU. I do not know the character, so I do not know if this looks good or not. I cannot speak on that. And then we have Jordan over here. Jordan. So we got another Viltrumite, just basic Viltrumite going on here. And then we have Ultraman Cal. I think he had another style that I saw earlier. This is the same belt that I used. I did a style of Ultraman. One of my recent style videos. I have a short for him coming out. I think it's coming out tomorrow. But yeah, Very nice. I got a few more lantern styles that I have kind of locked and loaded, and I'm just looking at the right opportunity to go ahead and make the video for it, and then kind of just set it up, send it out. So I'll see what I can do to try to get that sped up, because I got to do the community spotlight for last week, and then I'll do those. But I already got like 3 or 4 lined up in the pipeline. And then I got a special video in the pipeline that is going to be a little bit. Okay, so we got this. This definitely looks like something from like Mortal Kombat. Definitely has that feel to it. It's not bad. All right. And then did I look at Volcanus? I don't think I did. Okay, that's not bad. Definitely has like an old like Kratos, Kronos like Titan, like God of War Titan feel to it. That's definitely like what I get from it. Very nice. And then we have Connell. Let's check him out. There we go. There he is. So Superboy, very muted, very dark muted Superboy. Okay. Alright. Let's see. Well, that's weird. He's just sitting there doing a beam. You guys see that? That's kind of insane. That's crazy. All right. Yeah. Looks like everybody that has the white lantern beam just has the line going, continuously going on. And then we got Neptune. Let's take a look at Neptune here. Unseen says, are you using the new art for your battle tank? Yes. I am using the new art for the battle tank, because if you do consistent healing and damage, which you do as a tank, you're going to get that new ability to proc. And the new ability, so basically the new artifact is insane with the damage it does. Not only does it basically almost one-shot ads, you know, take them for all their health, but also it does a lot of damage on bosses. I don't know if you saw my video. If you want to see it, go ahead and check it out. But one thing that I was able to achieve was that I was able to solo Ultimate Soldier in one of my latest videos. I was able to solo that without like going into the portals and taking out Solomon Grundy or taking out Gentleman Ghost. I just went straight in, walked up to the boss and said, hey, this is how it's going to be. This is going to go down. And I went ahead, ended up taking Ultimate Soldier out before I even took Ghost out or Solomon Grundy out. So the artifact is really strong. The idea for the artifact is you can cut down the cooldown every 5 seconds with 2 different methods that are independent of each other. You can either heal or do damage, and if you do both, it's like doubles. And basically, my buddy did the math. I think it's like every 25 seconds you can have that go off if you're, you know, consistently healing and damaging over time. Yeah. So I am 100% running that in my loadout. Yeah. Yep. So it's just really strong. It's really good. It gives you passive heals over time. Little little bling, and it goes and heals you. And then when the whole thing goes off, like you see like in this stream every so often, like the hands have like this power that like builds up and blows out. That whole thing that heals you for 20% of your health plus 30. So basically, a little more than 20% of your health is just healed immediately. So what RC you use, I don't know to replace it for. Okay, so here's what I run. I run Scrap, Gemini, Ebon, Razor's Power Battery, and Red Tornado. Now, that's good for me. The Gemini and the Scrap are good for me because I'm Rage, and I want to be able to spam Berserk in my loadout. So right there. So number 4 is Berserk in the middle of my loadout there. I need to be able to spam that because Berserk is another 50% of my damage. So it's a very strong supercharge. And then having the Razor's Power Battery go off is like another supercharge or 2 going off. So for me, it's very important to be able to have Razor's Artifact, but also being able to also still spam Berserk. And what I use for my allies are Mr. Freeze, because he has that damaging aura. It's still insanely strong, and I use it because, so if I'm able to spam Berserk, I'm able to spam the Frozen Heart aura, that does a lot of AoE damage to everything around me. And then, of course, Walk It Off is to get the supercharge back, to get 15% of my supercharge back. And then, like, Ward of Zerial from Constantine is basically to give me the knockback's nice, but I'm mainly getting it for the might buff and the defense buff. So I'm gaining 10% defense, and I'm gaining 18% might. So for me, that's what I run. It's super important, and I always know that with every update, there may be, I don't want to say an upset, but there could be a change in how my build runs. And that's generally why I don't really make a lot of build videos. Or don't make any real like build videos. It's because the meta is always changing, and I almost feel like it's half baked if I'm going ahead and showing people a build that will be obsolete in maybe like another month or 2, because things always kind of change. Just like I was running Flute instead of Razor's Artifact. Now Razor's Artifact is so big, like I had to go, okay, which one does more? Okay, Flute doesn't do as much as Razor's Power Battery. It's like, it looks great in the short term, but when it comes to the long term, you're doing way more damage with Razor's Power Battery. So it took me a second. Okay, so I need to replace this out. I need to move this. And that's what I did. That's how I kind of think about it and try to adjust accordingly, right? That's what I look at. And by the way, this is a very nice Zod style. Just a shout out to General Zod DC. Very nice. You did a very good job, man. Very nice. Well done. Just a very, very clean style. But yeah, so that's how I kind of think about it. And you weigh your options. Which one's going to give me more damage. And for me, this was kind of a no-brainer because Razor also gave me a lot more support. Gave me a lot more heals, a lot more support. So it's like, why wouldn't you run it, right? But I kind of see Razor as like an artifact version of like the Nemesis Lasso. But it's better in some sense. You can't control it like Lasso, so I guess you could say that's kind of like a negative. But also, in a way, it's automatic. You don't have to worry about trying to proc it. You could even use it with Lasso. But here's another thing. It's good on boss damage. It's very good on boss damage. So, if I've got a whole crowd of ads there and I've got 2 bosses there or 3 bosses like I did for the Ultimate Soldier, all of them are being burned by Razor's artifact. It's not one, it's not two, it's not just the ads, it's everything is being burned out. For me, that's a win. For me, that's like 100%, that's what you want. And so for me, that's super important. So I've got Berserk going on, and then I've got I've got the Razor's power battery going off. So yeah, so I thought that was kind of cool. I thought that was kind of cool, and that's why I ended up replacing it out. Because if you see the better option, of course you're gonna go and use the better option. So yeah, so it's a really good artifact. It's really good for healers, battle healers, full tanks, battle tanks, and DPS that consistently take damage. If you're using Ebon, if you're using like the trans card and a few other things, and you're not using Book of the Black, you're not using Lernia, if you're not using those artifacts, well then you're losing out on damage, because it's all about taking damage and healing that damage as consistently over time as possible to get the Razor's power battery effect, like what happened right now, to get that effect to happen as soon as possible. So yeah, so think of it this way: every time, as long as you consistently heal and damage over time, think of it as like Omega. Like every time you heal and do damage and it counts, because every time you heal, then it has a 5-second cooldown. Every time you DPS, then the artifact has a 5-second cooldown. So you can't just spam heals and build it up that way. But it's like every 5 seconds, you heal and you damage. Imagine that being like a tick on like the bar that shows that it's going up. Like that's basically what it is. That's what it's doing internally. It's just not visualized. But yeah, that's what's going on. And the crazy part is that it also heals group members. I was in a run. There was no healer. And then it was like a DPS died or something. It was like a DPS, a troll, and me. Or no, it was only 3 people. So it was literally a troll. No, 2 DPS, a DPS, my friend, and then me. And so they were DPSing. This was in the Elite Alert, the Zamoron Chamber one. And so the one DPS was down and out. And then the other one, my friend, he was just DPSing, and my Razor artifact was going off, and when it does a whole explosion thing, that heals group mates as well, so people that are in your group. I literally see that if everybody is running Book of the Black and they're running Razor, they're literally just tossing heals around to each other. That's like if everybody had Razor's artifact, you would just have non-stop heals being thrown every way, because the Razor like little blasting that went on there, that heals everybody in your group. That heals everybody in your group. I don't know if it heals their pets. I'm not going to go that far and say that, but everybody just could be tossing heals around to everybody. That's what it's going to be, and everybody's also going to be doing a lot of damage. Just because you're gonna have that proccing like almost constantly, because if everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing and it's every 25 seconds per person, that's insane. Like you're gonna have some people that are gonna overlap. You're gonna have some people that are a few seconds apart. It's gonna be insane. It's a very big. It's an artifact that works well on its own, but it also works even crazier with an actual like group like a group synergy, a group dynamic. So yeah, so I think it's a really good artifact. I think it's easily one of the best that's been easily one of the best in a while, maybe besides like Omega. But it requires you to take damage, and it requires you to heal yourself. But if you can do both of them, you should be good to go. Now if you ask me, say, hey, Iconic, but I'm gadgets, or I'm quantum, or I'm those powers. I don't have healing abilities like heal and tank powers. Well, that's where Lernia comes into effect. Lernia's heals. If you get the Lernia artifact, Lernia's amulet. If you get that, that counts as healing yourself. That counts as healing yourself, and you can get that quite well. So, I don't know. Maybe you could run that with Book of the Black, to make sure you keep enough damage. But what one friend was doing was that he was carrying 2 finishers, so he would rotate and run 2 finishers in his loadout, and you'd be like, okay, but you're not getting as much damage because, you're not getting as much might, right? From Lernia's. But at the same time, you're still getting some might from Lernia's, and if you were running Book of the Black, you'd probably be getting the full buff on that as well, because you get the consistent healing from Lernia. So that's kind of where you could kind of go with that as well if you wanted to. But yeah, so there are options for plenty of people to go ahead and use the new artifact. Or if you have, and I almost forgot, you have the Blue Lantern abilities. You have let me see here. You've got this one right here, the Empowering Pulse, and then you have the Hope Wave. The last, if I didn't mess it up, so this one heals your group members and you, and then this one right here, the last tick, that right there, the light blue one, heals you and group members. So you can heal yourself with Empowering Pulse, and then the third part, the last tick of Hope Wave, heals you and your group members. So there you go. That's another way you can heal. You have plenty of options now. And then if you wanted to, I don't know if you'd want to use this or not. You could use this. This heals you as well, but it's stationary and it doesn't do damage. So that I don't know. You may not want to end up using that. But it's mainly good for like healers. I can only see really healers using it. I don't even see like battle tanks using that. I can see maybe like a battle tank or just a full tank that uses like a brick or something. But I know that you healing your own pets will proc the cooldown reduction. But I'm not sure if you can heal other people's pets and get credit for that, or even if you can heal other people's pets like that. Besides like being a healer. But yeah. Alright, let me see if I can jump to another phase, because I think I've seen everybody here. Let me look at Augustus Caesar, and then I think I'll swap to another phase. Augustus Caesar. Okay, it's not bad. Not bad at all. Let me catch up on chat over here. It seems like it's exploding. Poppy React says, love the streams, bro. I appreciate you loving the streams, man. Unseen Savage says, replace Omega or Ebon for it. Unseen, you gotta let me know what other artifacts you're running so I can know. If you could tell me what artifacts you're running and what power you are, I'll try to give you good advice, but I would still kind of take the time and research it and see what's best for you. Because I don't like to speak in absolutes if I don't know if I don't know what I'm talking about, right? If I don't know what I'm talking about, I don't feel very confident giving people advice, especially when it comes to like people rank things up with their time or their money. So I don't want to have to be the deciding factor of whether you make a good choice or a bad choice because you listen to me. You know what I mean? I'd rather have it that you talk to a few people as well, a few more people, and you got an informed idea. I'll just give you like a knee-jerk reaction of what I think maybe you should do, but I wouldn't act on it. I would definitely ask around, get some more opinions, because I'm not an expert in everything, and I don't try to be that. And I'm sure there are other people that are a little more qualified and like knowing exactly what you could probably drop. I only do what I think is best for my character and from my experience, but I can't speak in absolutes for everybody. But I'll try my best to help you out. Tiny says, the artifact you talk about in my battle tank, I think added more healing to my build. I was taken down the bounty solo the fastest I've ever done. Yeah, the damage is insane and the healing is really good. But for me, the damage is like I said earlier, is like the Nemesis lasso but better. Yeah, you can't like choose when it goes off, but it's automatic when it does go off. You don't have to worry about it. And it really chunks the boss down massively and like basically one-shots ads. And in my book, it hits everything that's around you, and I think that's really important. It's 360, you don't have to be targeting them, and it damages equally everything. I think it hits bosses for more. It hits the bosses for more, but just generally, everything around it, it's dealing heavy damage to everything around it. And it's got really good group synergy. It heals your group members. So as a battle tank, if I don't have a healer in that group and my DPS, need little heals here and there, it is literally in my best interest to be healing and damaging as much as possible, so I can make sure that the Razor's artifact pops off, so that it does more damage, so that basically we're not in the fight for that long, and so that I can also be consistently healing them as quick as I possibly can with the shortest amount of time in between those procs. Like for me, that is within my best interest to make sure I'm healing as much as possible and damaging as much as possible, so that I'm consistently getting those cooldown reductions over time. Otherwise it's like, what am I doing? We're in the boss fight for much longer than we should be, and then it puts my team at risk, because then maybe I could have a heal 10 seconds earlier than 10 seconds later. That could mean a lot in a fight. So it's got a really good synergy to it, and when you have multiple people, like if you see my buddy's video, War Machine's video, Gaming Prodigy, that's his channel. If you check that out, you'll see that he's in the video with the artifact. One of our buddies, I believe it's Silly Bird, he has the artifact on, I have the artifact on, and we just showed a little clip of all of us just DPSing and whatever, and just the heals that are being passed back and forth. You wouldn't know that we were running Page of the Black. You wouldn't know that we were running Lernia. You wouldn't know that we were running self-damaging artifacts, because the heals were being passed around so quickly. So it's got a really good synergy for our total group, total group dynamics. Let me see here. 815 Made says, I'm kind of new to DC. What is the best way to get money? Best way to get money is to run your dailies and weeklies and your latest content, and sell the catalysts that you get. I think that's the most basic, easy way to get a little bit of money in the game, and try to get your game cash up. That's the best way I could tell you to go ahead and to get money in the game. And I feel like the earlier in the DLC, the better. I mean, the longer you wait, the lower the prices get over time. Just naturally, that's how the market works. Poppy Reacts is, what aura do you use for that custom? For this custom right here, I'm guessing you're talking about this style. I'm using the overclocked aura. I think it was from BOP. I don't know exactly when or where. I only remember wearing it during that time. I think it's from the BOP episode. I would have to look it up and see exactly where. You could probably look it up on Google and get a good answer. I just forget. It's, it takes a couple years. I'll know the name of the styles, but when it comes to where they came from, that's you lose me there. Unfortunately, that's where my knowledge kind of stops. But I believe it was from the BOP episode. It's literally one of the only auras in the game that has a really nice blue and red hue to make like a blue and red lantern. I mean, you could also do like I've seen some people, especially like Fundraiser, I've seen them use like the Doomsday aura, and maybe they're using it for like the flow, because this one has like kind of like a techie vibe, right? You see the blue and the red, but it's kind of tech. But I kind of take it over this. I feel like the red is really weak, and I feel like the blue is the wrong color, so I just didn't choose this. So I went with overclocked. For me, overclocked was the natural choice for me when it came to colors. So that's kind of the reason why I did what I did. Let me see here. Unseen says I'm raged with Ebon, Scrap, Omega, Book, and Red Tornado. Are you trying to battle tank with that, Unseen? That's what I would look at if you're trying to battle tank, because you mentioned Red Tornado. That's really, you can only use that in tank stance. So here's the thing. If you're trying to battle tank, okay. If you're trying to battle tank, which one would I change out? Okay. So here's what I'm gonna say. I'm going to say, okay. So you're saying Book of the Black. I think Book of the Black is great, but I don't use it for battle tank for rage. You probably could, but I feel like Ebon's really important because as a battle tank, you're running 2 loadouts and you're using a lot of power, and rage just is very power hungry in general with most of the abilities. So Ebon, for me, for my opinion, is very important for battle tanking. Otherwise, you will have a hard time maintaining power. Scrap is important if you're trying to do, if you're trying to spam Berserk. So I get that, so that's important. So that's another one. 2 important ones right there. Omega, very important. I don't use it on battle tank because it doesn't build up quick enough, and I don't have an artifact slot for it. And I feel like it's really good, but it's not good enough to be on this specific on this build. And here's why. The reason is which one would I do more with over time? And I feel like being able to spam Berserks over time and using Shadow Curse would be slightly better than using Omega and doing fewer Berserks. So the choice is, do I want to do fewer Berserks and put Omega in? Or do I want to do as many Berserks as I want and put a power that's slightly weaker, or that it is weaker than Omega? Shadow Curse ability. I feel like putting Shadow Curse in and doing more Berserks will make up over time, and then I have Razors going off. But you know, so that's how I think about it. I think of it as an either or choice. I can have this, but then I'm going to lose this, but I will gain this. Which one's the better choice? And so so in my mind, you know, in my mind, I have to have Tornado. The healing's really good, and I get a massive might buff. That's a keeper. That has to stay, right? That turns everything into heals. That's got to stay. Ebon, power management, has to stay, and I get a might buff. I literally can't do back-to-back Berserks if I don't have Soul Cloak and Gemini. They have to stay. So the only flex that I have is right here, and it was Flute. I had Flute in there, and then the new artifact came out, and I'm like, and so I had the same conversation with myself. I'm like, what can I switch out? I literally can't switch anything out. And I'm like, okay, Flute is literally the only weak point there. I have to get rid of Flute and put Razor's Power Battery in there. That's how I came to that conclusion. Do you ever tank elite raids? I tank elite raids all the time, and I have battle tanked both of the new raids. I've battle tanked, and we've even 3-manned it too. I 3-manned it, so I had my buddy War. He was on his Aqua Machine character, so he was healing, water healing, and then I was a rage battle tank, and then And then we had like one of our league mates was just DPSing. So I think one of the groups it was 3, and then the other was 4 players. But we did a 3-player on Love and War, and I'm not gonna say it was perfect because it wasn't perfect. We definitely like wiped a time or two on the last boss, or no, not on the last boss. We wiped on Wonder Woman with her reflect, because we were burning her so quick that she was doing them back to back, and it caught us off guard the first time. So it wasn't perfect, but it was definitely still the time wasn't bad, and it was a pretty good run for being 3 people for Elite, and his heals were like on point. And then Poppy Rack says, "What's the name of your material you're using, my friend?" Okay, so the material on the shoulders, hands, and feet, and yes, the feet is literally that whole red like swirl that's going up the leg. That is the Last Sun, and Sun is spelled as S-U-N, like the star. Last Sun material. And then the material that is used for the waist, chest, and legs, that is the Dark Cosmic Chroma. I'm thinking about throwing this in my other red Blue Lantern style in like a short or something. That's what I was talking about earlier. I'll try to see if I can make it happen. Let me see, make sure I answered everything. 815 Maid says, "Do you know what time Dr. Fate items change in the House Legends?" I do not. I do not know when they change over. I barely know when the server reset changes over in the morning. Alright. Okay. So, let me switch to another phase here real quick. So I can see if there's anyone else. I think I see the God of Thunder over here. Let me look at him real quick. Inspect that. Okay, we've seen him before, but very nice style. Very nice. Alright. Let me jump to another phase or two and see what we got going on. Let me try to get out of combat. But yeah, I tank Elite raids. I feel like I like when content has a little more bite to it. So I prefer to tank Elite raids. You know, even at the beginning of this DLC, I was soloing the Elite alert. Like, so here's the funny thing. Somebody was in Discord, and they were saying, "Hey, Iconic, have you played the new alert yet?" And I said, "No, I've only done I told them I only did the regular on stream when I was showcasing like the new time capsule stuff and the new content for the DLC when it first came out." And they said, it's really easy. You should check it out. I done the Elite. It was really easy." And I mistook them. I thought that they soloed it. And then they were like, "Oh no, I ran a group with it." I'm like, "Oh," and by the time I asked them that, I had already like soloed it. And I said, "Oh yeah, it's easy." I was like, "Oh, when did you solo it or whatever?" "Oh, I didn't solo it. I ran it with the group." And I'm like, "Oh." I'm like, "Well, I went ahead and just soloed it. Yeah, you're right. It is pretty easy." So yeah, so I definitely I don't want to say I was the first, but I was definitely one of the first that kind of jumped on the bandwagon. That was like, I think this is doable, and so I've been trying out and seeing what stuff I can solo, especially with like the new Razor artifact. I was able to solo the regular clamped version of Source Ball. And man, was that hard. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but I definitely had the time when I did certain things. Like, I was doing Source Wall and like all the different Titans. I had to really figure out which one I was going to target first, which one I was going to take out first, which one was more of a problem. Like, because I hadn't done that content in a while. And then it came to the Dark Knights, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be easy. And it was up until a point, and then Red Death came out. And then they had that one mechanic where it puts a green arrow on your head, and you have to group with group members. Everybody has to gather together so that you take less damage. But guess what? There's no one there because I'm all by myself. I'm soloing this. So you're taking max damage from that attack. I think it was called Perpetua's like Rebuke or something like that. And so you take like max damage from that if you have no one there. So, like, I lose 95% of my health in one fair swoop. And so I had, and then you have, like, Red Death throwing out, like, his little stupid, like, little speed bombs all over the place. And then, and then those are popping off as you have low health. So I always had to time it to where I would use my Rage Crash ability and be in, like, a channel when that green arrow Perpetual's Rebuke was going to go off. So I had to go ahead and time it and make sure, okay, I had to use a shield or I have to back away and wait for it to happen. So that took a couple wipes because they kept getting me that way. It was either one thing or another that was getting me with that. So you have to be on point with timing the Rage Crash ability and then throwing up a shield, or if you don't have your Rage Crash and you accidentally used it, because muscle memory, I would just use it instinctively. Then you had to back up, use a shield, Rebuke goes off, you quickly got to drink a soda to get you up to 100% health, because they will just do more damage and take you out if you don't have the health. Like, your health is spent very quickly in that sort of fight. And, you know, so you have the Devastator and Red Death going after you like no tomorrow. And then it was like, I did Batman Who Laughs, easy. Did Perpetua, easy, no problem. It was just the first two bosses are like the wall, you know. Either you get past them or not. You either get past them or not, and then if you are able to get past them, the last two bosses are super simple, super easy, no problem. You know, no learning curve, nothing. You just rinse and repeat, do your loadout, you're fine. Avoid the purple circles on the ground, great, that's done. Avoid the little red circles in Perpetual Fight, good. Avoid the fire trail, good, that's easy. All that was easy. The first two required focus and being able to time your abilities, make sure they weren't catching you at the wrong times. Because if you're low health, they take advantage of that, you're done, it's over. But yeah, little things like that. So I've been trying to solo whatever raids I can. Elite raids are like Elite Plus for tanks. Reg raids are like Elite raids to tanks. When it comes to soloing. Now, obviously, that's not the case when, you know, you're in a group. But if you're not in a group, soloing a regular raid is like soloing Elite. That's like an Elite solo or Elite Plus solo for tanks. You know, some raids are going to be definitely easier than others. Like, I would not put Source Wall in the same category as, like, I don't know. I wouldn't put it as like the new raids now. I wouldn't put it in like the same category. Source Wall definitely has a lot more bite to it, a lot more difficulty. Like, if you did a reg raid from like maybe 3 episodes ago, it would not be in the same category as like Source Wall. Not in the least. So it's, you know, just, you know, different raids, different difficulties, but in general, like, you're gonna have a little bit of a you know, it's definitely not like event. Like, if you do like casual event, like, you could stand there and you literally will not, like, you will not get knocked out because, you know, all the healing and defense that you get. Like, it's insane what you get in casual. It's like, casual's not even like really worth running. Like, there's no challenge there, nothing whatsoever. There's no chance of failure. So I try to go for something where it's like, yeah, if you don't pay attention for 2 seconds, yeah, you will be knocked out, 100%. Like, you have to pay attention. So yeah, so that's been a lot of fun for me. So getting a lot of source marks that way. You know, been going in, relearning some of the raids, because, you know, like, after a while, you haven't been in a raid, you know, a certain raid for a couple of years, you gotta tighten up and kind of learn the mechanics again, or, you know, or refamiliarize yourself with it. So yeah, but I mean, it's definitely been fun, and I can't tell you the last time I actually went ahead and like ran like a full like raid group ever since like the update. I don't think ever since that update that I've really ran like a full raid group. Maybe once like in the last week or something. But before that, like, I'd be hard pressed to try to see if there was, you know, any raid group that I actually ran with that had all like 8 people. I just like the solo stuff now at this point. Solo it. I can knock a lot of them out within like 10 minutes. So it's like, you know, like I could run with a group, or I could just, you know, do it by myself, and Razor just makes it go quicker. So it's like, you know, like, why would I have to deal with all that if I can have the satisfaction of just doing it all myself? So that's how I kind of just think about it. So definitely one of my top favorite updates with the game is when they did the solo queue-in. Definitely a big one for me. And this is a nice T'Challa style, by the way. I like the purple. I know that they use the royal purple chroma for that. I could tell. Very nice purple color. No, they didn't use it. Let me see. Did they? I don't know. No. Now that I think about it, they might actually be using the burnished bronze chroma on there. Yeah, they might be using that. Because I was looking at the texture on it, and the texture is definitely something I would think that would come from that. But the color's still very, very close. And we have red light over here. So a red lantern, like alien red lantern style going on. Very nice. And then we have the universe over here. So we got a Superman fan going on here with the Superman jacket. Very nice. Definitely one of my favorite like casual styles in the game. I think they did a good job with that. All right. I think I'll look at like 1 or 2 more, and then I'll take questions, and then I think we can end the stream. So I saw this earlier. I was kind of wishing he had like a belt or something. Seems just I don't know. It seems like he's just a little bit bare. I feel like he should have a little something there more. All right. So I'm gonna look at who'll be the last one. Alright, I already chosen it. I think it's gonna be Roman. Let's do Roman over here. Definitely has like a Ronin feel to it. Very nice. Alright. Whatever questions you have, go ahead and shoot. I'm gonna go ahead and start reading the first one. They said, right, the last DLC raid, I do wait for an hour for raid or solo at normal when I want to. I just want the reward for leveling OP. Don't need elite for that. No, you don't need elite for that. I don't even know if elite gives you like a higher chance at it. I'm not sure about that, but I feel like as long as you just like run the raids, you run the raids and you do like your weekly bounties, you should have plenty of opportunities to get the OP like food, like the red lantern batteries or whatever. Like you should have like plenty of options, and like your options go up like massively if you have alts. I tell people this. I'm like, if you just have your alts, they don't even have to run the raids. Just have them run the weeklies every week, And if you have like at least 4 or 5 alts, like you'll have it happening in like a decent amount of time. And then, and then the broker prices go down. That's good for you as well. You can get them off the broker when they get cheap. So a lot of people that I know don't even like use that stuff early on. They sell all of it and then they buy it all back later on when it's like super cheap. So they've already like made their money early on, and then they buy it when it's all cheap and they've already made their money. So they're rebuying it with all the money, rebuying it at much lower rate than what they sold it for early on in the DLC. So you can do that as well. But yeah, so I mean that's kind of the way that most people do it, or a lot of people that I know go ahead and do it. Moose says, I want to run a raid with you. I mean, I don't know. There's definitely some times where I'll see people like shouting out, or a bunch of friends that I know, or maybe somebody that I kind of know is like an acquaintance or whatever, and they're shouting out for like a raid or an alert or something. I'll be like, yo, we can solo that. Here, let's go in. Like there was one guy that was shouting out, and yes, we did kind of have a rough run because I definitely was not. It wasn't super terrible. We were making progress, but man, like I underestimated it. So I went in, and this is before we had Razor come out, and this was Flash to the Future, and he was shouting for I don't know how long, and I was like, I'm like, this guy's not gonna get this raid. I'm guessing he was like trying to finish off like his introduction mission for like the DLC for whatever, for the Long Live the Legion or wherever that was from. I forget the DLC, but anyway, he was shouting out for that for God knows how long, and I'm like, hey dude, I said, I don't know, maybe I can solo it. Let's, let's see. So I had invited him. We went straight in, and I think I got caught on like, so he has like a attack that does like a lot of spike damage, Brainiac. I forget exactly which one it was. But anyway, he was hitting me with that a lot, so I think we wiped like twice on the first boss, and like once on second, and then like once on third or something like that. Cause man, like the even with Berserk and all that, it was not able to make up for all that spike damage I was taking. But I mean, we basically duoed it, and it was fine. And he was able to get what he wanted. I mean, even with all that, I think it ended up being like a 25-30 minute run. So it wasn't terrible for 2 people, but I was definitely like taking notes on what to do better, right? Because I hadn't done that raid in a while either. But yeah, so we went ahead and did that, and we got that done. And I had some, friend that came back to the game. He was shouting out for one of the alert for the elite alert for this DLC, and I just, hey, let's go in there, and did it, no problem. It was like, I think it was like a 6-7 minute run for both alerts, so that was good. So every so often, so I don't like openly like advertise, but every so often, if I've kind of got the time and I see somebody shouting out for something, sometimes I'll kind of offer. And if I think like I could, like if I'm like 80% sure I could probably do it, I'll offer. Otherwise, if I'm like like if it's got cogs or group mechanics that require like multiple people, then I'm like, it's probably not gonna happen. But if I can do anything about it, I'll sometimes offer. So you never know. Yeah, you never know. But I mean, he was patient, and he was like, at the first boss, the first part of the boss, he was like, I don't know. He's like, we got this. I'm like, yeah, we got this. I was like, I'm just dying to stupid stuff, So, but other than that, I mean, run went good, and he got his progression that he needed for his opening mission for that DLC. So, Because it kind of sucks, like, you're shouting out in LFG and, like, nobody's responding. And then you try to queue up, no one's queuing up for that. So. But, yeah. So, there you all have it. Let me just zoom up here. Or, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do one last... I haven't done this in a while. Let's just kind of pan around, see everybody around us. Well, all right. I appreciate you all for hanging out with me today on this Sunday, this nice, cool Sunday. I appreciate you guys watching and you know, all your questions and just hanging out with me today. Hopefully, we have a nice, easy week as we cruise into the well, note the holiday's not for another week, so it will not be the holiday week yet. So. But either way, you know, get yourself a green Shamrock milkshake or whatever. You know, it's March. Go for it. Feed that inner Irish within you, right? But you guys enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you all in the next one, okay? Laters.